The San Francisco 49ers lose a tough one on the road in Minnesota. We're going to recap the game. We'll take a look at some of the PFF grades and see how they graded the players. And we'll go ahead and take a look and listen to some of the pressers and see how the players felt after being defeated in Minnesota right here on the Wayne Breezie Show. So stick around. What's going on, 49er faithful? It's your host, the Wayne Breezie. Welcome to the Wayne Breezie Show. Hope you guys are in a good mood. Well, at least a better mood than what we were in on last night. The bad news is the 49ers lost. The good news is there's a lot of football left to be played this season. So depending on how you want to look at it, it's totally up to you. But you know how I like to get down. I'm going to go through this game. I watched it again, and, you know, there were some things that I definitely liked what I saw, and there was definitely some things that were questionable in my mind. And, you know, I'm not going to question, I don't question the fourth down calls. I actually liked the play design, the calls on the fourth downs. It's just unfortunate that we went 2 for 4 on fourth down. But, you know, why did we lose? I don't know, a whole bunch of stuff to that. But guys, before we get started with the show, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Shout out to everybody out there. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here on a Monday. Things just didn't go our way. Jax Knox, today is her birthday. We're going to show her some love on today. Happy birthday to Jax. Happy birthday for just getting older. All right. So congratulations to you. Hope you're enjoying your day. Let's go ahead and wish Jax a happy birthday. Let's sing a little happy birthday to Jax Knox. She's no longer Jax 49 girl Knox because her team lost. All right, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jax, 49er girl Knox, no longer not. Happy birthday to you, I tried to give you the Boys to Men version. I tried to do all 4 voices, but unfortunately, you get one. Happy birthday to Jax Knox. Show her some love on her birthday, ladies and gents. All right, man. Got that out the way. I feel better singing happy birthday than I will talk about this damn football game. I tell you that right now. What a game. What a game. What a game. What a game. Like, this game was so weird. The whole vibe of the game was weird. I thought the energy of the game was weird. And I thought that the players, I don't know, they look different. Not all of them. Let's just say it's 53 men on the roster. I'd say 48 of them didn't show up. 48 didn't show up. That's crazy, right? Like 48 players. So weird. It's just so weird, you know? Like, and I know your guys' initial thoughts was like, what in the heck happened to the 49ers? Well, they came out flat. They started off very flat, all right? So, you know, we got a Cowboy fan in the building. Terrence Floyd said, could be worse, could be a Cowboy. I've never in my life, Terrence, when I say you a real, when I say you a real one player, you a real one. There better not be no Terrence Floyd slander in my chat right now. This is my dog right here. Most Cowboy fans, here's the thing, we both lost. So at the end of the day, we can't get at each other. You know what I mean? Come on, big bro. We can't go at each other. Now, had y'all lost, probably be a little shade. Had y'all won and we lost, there'd be some shade. But it's just bad being a fan of both at this point, especially when, you know, you guys lost at home. We lost on the road. But I appreciate you for being in here. You know what I mean? I truly do. All right, guys, listen. Let's go ahead and get down to the recap of this game, man. Golly, 49ers lost this game 23-17. You want to know what's crazy? There was no point in this game where I felt like, well, how can I say this? I don't want to say this in the wrong way because I felt like the 49ers had a chance to win it, but I never felt like the San Francisco 49ers were in control. Am I the only person that felt like the 49ers weren't in control of this game? If you felt like the 49ers were in control, please give me the thumbs up so I can highlight these thumbs ups, because this whole game, I didn't feel like the Niners were in control. Did I feel like they had an opportunity to win? I did. I promise you I did. I felt it. Something came into my spirit when I thought the Niners were going to be able to pull it out. I thought the Niners, because of, the yin and the yang, the good and the bad, it got to reverse at some point. I thought the block punt was bad. Then I thought maybe, you know what? We'll get an onside kick, baby. Nah, it didn't work like that. It didn't work. It didn't work. And so I thought there was an opportunity that the Niners would have found a way to win this game by 1 point. It's just unfortunate. But the 49ers lost to the Vikings 23-17 on the overreaction show last night, which was spicy. Shout out to Peachy and the Nitty Gritty Niners crew. What a show. Super spicy, though. There's a bunch of crazy overreactions, crazy feelings, emotions. Everything was. You don't want to miss an overreaction show, because when I tell you, it's like no holds barred. The emotions, the feelings, everybody can get off at that moment. It's like I feel like even I feel like sometimes I'm too damn optimistic. Like even on that show, but I do be seeing that there's some good and some light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know why, I just do. But the 49ers lost to the Vikings 23-17. The bigger question is, can the 49ers ever win in Minnesota? I mean, apparently not. I mean, you do the math, 2024 minus 1992, whatever that is, that's how many years they've lost without getting a win in Minnesota. Have we beaten the Vikings? Yes. Have we won in Minnesota? No. No. So it's crazy, right? It's super crazy. But they did lose. I just didn't feel like, I got some thumbs downs here. I asked for some thumbs up, some thumbs downs. Nobody's giving the thumbs up. So that means that everybody probably felt like the Niners just weren't in control. But that's not what the stats say. Right? That's not what the stats say. Like, it's crazy, right? Like the statistics said that the Niners led clock control, and then there was just so many things that happened that allowed the Niners to not really gain control. Turnovers, just the block punt was a big energy shift. Golly, so many things, in my opinion, that led to the Niners' demise in Minnesota. It really did. Anyway, Janet says the whole day was weird, not just for us, but for lots of good teams. All right, now. I don't think I'm this optimistic, but this is amazing, right? This is the optimism I love right here, right? Because a lot of good teams, a lot of powerhouse teams, and we spoke about that last night on Nitty Gritty on the overreaction show. A lot of powerhouse teams lost. The only one powerhouse team that should have lost, that didn't lose, was the Kansas City Chiefs. And you know what? I don't know what type of money the Chiefs have with the officials or whatever it is, but I need Jed York and his money to get different. I need him to figure it out. I'm not saying cheat, but figure out, because I don't know how the Chiefs continue to find ways to win games and win games. You couldn't have told me that Patrick Mahomes was trash and they won that game. Like that, he was terrible. He was worse than Brock Purdy. He was probably one of the worst. He was bad, right? He played bad. But at the end of the day, he played good enough to help his team win. Like, I don't get it. I don't know what it is. I know there's going to be some Chiefs fans in here. Want to know what I'm talking about? You know exactly what I'm talking about, because y'all was holding on to y'all for the whole game. Like y'all were in my overreaction show waiting to see what happened. And the Bengals somehow couldn't close out. Not blaming the refs. But anyway, only powerhouse team that didn't get the L. I think that would have made it feel like that would have made the day complete, Janet, if the Chiefs would have took the L. But unfortunately, it didn't. I just thought it was weird. Like the vibes of the game were weird, right? Alejandro says it makes no sense. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. Nigel says, I thought they still had control until Justin Jefferson went out. Maybe they did, and that's when they lost control. Maybe they did have control, right? Because the game was relatively close. Niners went for it on fourth down, failed to complete the joint. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to talk about that because we're going to talk about that play. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that play. Not find that play, but just find the summary of that play so I can remember exactly what happened, because that play was important. You know, it was on a 4th and 2. So it was 4th and 2. He kept telling me it was 4th and 1. No, it was 4th and 2. I knew it was 4th and 2. We needed 2 yards. We were on the 2-yard line, not the 1-yard line. Y'all said we were on the 1. We were on the 2. Big difference. 4th and 2 on the 2. Everybody wanted to run the ball. I remember now. It was an incomplete pass to Juwan Jennings. But listen, I agree. Maybe, no, but you know what? I'm lying, Nigel. I did not feel like we were in control. I didn't. The Niners didn't look like a dominant team. The offense struggled early in the game. Like, the offense couldn't really get going. The offense never really got going. They had a couple of long drives. You had mistakes with penalties. What if I told you this game only had, the 49ers only had 4 penalties? Ready? 4. None were on the defense. 4 penalties, none were on the defense. And for the offensive line, they had 3, if I'm not mistaken, right? I know Trent Williams had a false start. There were a couple of weird penalties. No holds. Wait, I'm lying. Deebo Samuel had the hold, but he wasn't an offensive lineman. So no holdings calls, if I'm not mistaken, on the offensive line. It's a long time ago. Don't remember. But that's pretty good. But only 4 penalties, and it was for 30 yards total. So we didn't get out-penalized in this game, actually. The Vikings had more flags, more penalties. Had 7 for like 70-something yards or something like that. But at the end of the day, like the Niners, it's the mistakes, and it's kind of like when those mistakes happened. You know what I'm saying? That was the change of the game. The block punt had to be the biggest mistake of this game. Why? It was just a game changer, right? They didn't score on it, luckily, right? But, I mean, it just changed the whole momentum of the game. It's like playing, I feel like I don't know it in Madden 25, but in Madden 24, it had that momentum thing, and the moment you did something on the other team, and it just shifted all the way their way. Now, the Niners played good, in my opinion, defensively, and we'll look at some of the grades to see that, but just overall, like, it was just a bad vibe game. I'm sorry. It just wasn't a good display of what San Francisco 49ers football is supposed to be. Niner Cali Boy says, play calling was very suspect. Breezy, we already know our receivers can't separate minus BA, who is a shell of himself this year. Why are we throwing 3 to 5 yards from quick goal back with a back that averages 5 yards per carry? All right, so I got a bunch of answers. I got the answer to this. And you already, first of all, y'all know the answer to this. That's the cool part, right? Y'all already know the answer. So when you look at, and give me a second, but if you go back and rewatch the game, like now you've seen the game, now you've seen it. If you go back and rewatch the game, they stacked the box with 7 to 8 people in the box. So the Vikings were selling out to take away the run. You can run the ball, and whatever you get, you get. That was the game plan for the Vikings. They were taking away the run. That was it. As far as the receivers not being able to get open, part of that is correct. But the reason why they were running these quicker routes was because of the blitzing. And because the defense was blitzing, there's not enough time for the receivers to even run these longer routes down the field to find ways to get open. It's not easy to get open in a 3-yard route unless you're running a quick slant. It's not. And if the middle of the field is congested and the ball's slightly high or the ball's slightly behind and the ball's not on the money, that's going to lead to a potentially tipped pass from the receiver because it's a quick throw. And what happens when the ball is tipped? It typically doesn't go the 49ers way. It happened with Kyle Juszczyk. He tipped the ball. They caught the ball. my dude from Michigan, right? And they got the ball. Like it was tough. The game plan was so tough. The scheme, was so tough defensively. It was confusing the hell out of Brock. Brock even came out of his mouth and said to Brian Flores, "Your scheme is crazy." Does that make a little bit more sense to those out there? Like, want to know why we didn't run the ball? Well, we did. We ran the ball. We ran the ball pretty effectively. Could we have ran the ball more? Possibly. But we were down at one point. We were down by a few, 2 scores at one point. So running the ball late was kind of like obsolete. We had to throw the ball. And here's what the Vikings did. The Vikings made in a nutshell, the Vikings made the 49ers one-dimensional. Whenever I do keys to victory, what is always one of my keys to victory? Force the other team to become one-dimensional. Make them throw the ball. You can play the pass. The Vikings did that to the Niners, and the Niners lost. It's super simple. So yeah, play calling was suspect, but at the end of the day, remember, we can't be like, hey, take what the defense gives you and then be mad always at the play calling. Could the play calling have been better? Could the play calling have been different? A little bit more unique? A little bit more of an element of surprise? Yes. Here's my issue with the play calling. There was no rhythm. So if Kyle Shanahan couldn't get his offense into some type of a rhythm, then yeah, all the play calls look suspect. And the issue was those penalties that I mentioned earlier started to block the rhythm. Since the Niners are getting ready to flow, they get a big run. Go back to the Jordan Mason big run, right? I think it was a play where he had a big run to the outside. Debo held. Like, it was just silly penalties that would stop the rhythm and the flow. Last week they were able to overcome those penalties and still find a way to get into a rhythm. But it's not always easy to get into a rhythm when the defense is consistently blitzing. I feel like I sound like the reindeers, right? Cynthia, what's going on? She says, Purdy referenced the Vikings defensive scheme. I wonder what he meant. Are you saying when he said, what did I just say? He said something about good scheme. Oh, your scheme is crazy. Oh, you want to know what he meant by the scheme is crazy? It was their way that they were blitzing. So like Purdy might be used to guys or teams blitzing a certain way. There was a lot of delayed linebacker blitzes. So, okay, there's a couple of ways you blitz, right? You can just some defenses just show the blitz, right? And there's different types of blitzing, right? So some defense would just show it at the line of scrimmage. The quarterback, the center can see it, slide the protections, blah, 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 because they're showing it. Good defenses will disguise it. They won't show it. Then they'll do it. And so it's about them being able to execute the blitz, especially when a linebacker is coming a little delayed. So when there's 5-on-4, right, you can't blame the offensive line if they got to block 5 guys. That's impossible. It's 4 against 5. It's almost an advantage the opposing team. So when he said that the scheme was crazy, if you looked at some of those throws, like they had 2 safeties high all the time, and then they didn't even have their safeties loaded in the box, but the way that their linebackers, remember they run a 3-4, and you know what? I feel like Brock struggles more against 3-4 defenses than he does because of the speed of the linebackers. Those linebackers were all over the field, and they were tipping a lot of Brock's quick throws, right? Which I thought Brock needed to do the quick throw game. Unfortunately, their linebackers knew, and they were executing. Their inside linebackers execute into a T. Outside linebackers execute into a T. We're mad that Brock threw that play at the end of the game to Deebo Samuel that almost should have been a pick 6 from Andrew Van Ginkel. He had one in the game last week, right, against the Giants, because it was almost like the same play. My issue with that play was, why not flip it to the other side where he's not lined up and run toward Trent Williams' side and see if Deebo can make a play? Because that's what Deebo does. But why not do more to the left? They did a lot to the right, and I think the defenses and the schemes and stuff started to pick up on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Started to pick up on it. All right. So Peachy said that still should have ran it on 4th and 2. I was talking about the 4th and 2. So on that particular play, Brock Purdy called out what he saw, right? And maybe this will give those some insight onto why they didn't run the ball on 4th and 2 on the goal line or whatever. So let me see if I can find that clip, because that was it. They had everybody in the box. So it's not like they were on the inch yard line where they could quarterback sneak it, or the 1 yard line they could quarterback sneak it. Nah, the Vikings were showing something to where Brock was like, okay, no run, they'll stop it. Let me get the ball out of my hand quick. So on that particular play, the defense just made a play. That's what it was. Should they have ran it? Peachy says yes. Me personally, I actually liked the play call. It was executed. It was just better executed by the Vikings. It's like they knew it was coming. And that is why I feel like Kyle Shanahan got to find a way to create some type of different elements of surprises. Like, right? Like, why not fake the handoff, let Brock roll out for 2 yards and see if he can make a play to get into the end zone or something like that. I don't know. But the quick throw game, but again, it was an all-out blitz. So it was an all-out blitz, and that's potentially why they did not go with the run there. Does it suck? Absolutely. Should he ran it? I don't know. Possibly. I don't know if he felt comfortable with the personnel he had in there, and they were blitzing anyway. So if they're showing blitz, you usually don't run into a blitz, if that makes any kind of a sense. If that makes any sense. Usually if they're showing blitz, you don't run into a blitz. If they blitz and they don't show blitz, I mean, you don't really know. But they were definitely sending everybody in the kitchen sink to force Brock to do whatever he needed to do. Maybe Brock could have checked out and ran, or had somebody run it and the blitzers would have ran past the running backs. But it's a potential that wouldn't happen. So they decided to throw the ball. And Brock talked a little bit about what happened on that play. All right, so let me see if I can find that right there. Here we go.
Yeah, you're talking about JJ? That one? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we felt like we, could have scored on that drive, and I love the aggressiveness by Kyle going for it, 4th and 2, 4th and 1, and they had 0 blitz, and one guy just came free, which in our pass protection, that's just how it is, and they got a hand on it, a tip ball, man, at the end. So it was a good defensive play on them, and I was just trying to give JJ a shot. That was where the ball was supposed to go, and against man, and I thought I had it, and the ball got tipped.
So yeah, man, a lot of people felt like we should have ran it, and potentially we should have. We could have ran it and took our chances. If we got in, touchdown. If we didn't get in, oh well, it's on the 2 yard line, or maybe it would have been a loss, it would have been on the 3 yard line, or we don't know. But we did throw it, and it was incomplete, and they got the ball on the 2 yard line. And that's where, maybe all the stuff hit the fan, because the defense, to me, schematically was out of sync. I just didn't understand. I don't think I'll ever understand why there was a safety, and I believe it was George Odom, in man coverage on Justin Jefferson. How is that allowed? And you heard Charvarius Ward talk about it at the when he was being interviewed in the locker room, and his assignment was to play on the left side. He didn't throw anybody under the bus. He just said he was told to play on the left side. Period. End of discussion. And so I don't know why he wasn't covering the best player out there, but he wasn't. Nothing we could do about it. Maybe going forward, that role of responsibility will be something that he does depending on who he's matched up against. But if he's my best corner, I want him on the best receiver at all times. If he get burnt, then at least I had my best corner on the best receiver at all times. And then maybe the safety help would have been there, because it was a safety in man and then the safety over the top. And so Jair Brown, in my opinion, made the mistake by just biting too quick. He was too far in to recover. And so, boom, Justin Jefferson hits him with the move, and he down the field after he catches the bomb from Sam Darnold. And then another question is, where was the pressure? Like, why wasn't he rattled? Niners don't blitz. Like, I just feel like they're not trying to blitz. At least that's not what they're trying to do now. We have seen them blitz. They've used the nickel. They've used corners. They've used safeties. But they use linebackers. They just don't want to feel comfortable blitzing. And I get it. But, man, it was on the 2 yard line. You can't give that up. That's worse. You can't give that up. Defensively, That was worse than the all-out blitz by Steve Wilkes. I'm sorry. And it came down to the players executing, because it always comes down to the players executing, but it came down to the execution of the players, but it also has to be on the defensive coordinator for putting the players in that position. Like their role. If we're going to blame Kyle Shanahan for play calling, then we got to flip the script defensively and talk about Nick Sorensen and the defensive coordinating on a play like that. Like that, it's we got to be fair. We could blame Kyle for play calling. He only managed to help put up 17 points, but the defense also gave up 23 points. So at the end of the day, we got to look at Nick and say, Nick, what was going on? What was in your mind? And Kyle talked about Jair Brown not covering the middle. He was the middle third safety, and he just came up too far, in my opinion. And when he tried to recover, it was burnt toast at that point. So look, a lot of things to go around to blame, but the Niners made a lot of mistakes. You know what I mean? A lot of mistakes. Marty Marr says, Breezy, we just want Kyle to run the ball. Okay, so from now on, Kyle Shanahan needs to run the ball on 3rd and 1 in the red zone. If we get in, dope. It wasn't 3rd and 1, though. It was 4th and 2. I think we ran the ball. Hold up. We ran the ball. Let's go through that. All right, here we go. I got the series on that. All right, you ready? Here we go. All right, so and it's in the second quarter. All right, let's go to the 1st and 4. All right, we call the timeout. It was an incomplete pass on 1st and 4. All right, incomplete pass on 1st and 4. Brock Purdy incomplete to Brandon Ayuk. The next play, the 49ers called the timeout. The next play, they ran it. -1 rushing yards by Jordan Mason. On the next play, it was a pass. Remember, George Kittle caught the pass and he almost got in because he got the ball down to the 2-yard line or whatever, right? And then we had the incomplete pass on that 4th down. So on 3rd and 5, we got 3 yards, right? And we got to the 2. George Kittle couldn't get in, all right? And then on 3rd and 4th and 2, on the 2, that was the incomplete pass to, so I'm not sure which 3rd down you're talking about. It's probably another 3rd down on 3rd and 1. I'm with that. 3rd and 1, run it. But on 4th and 2, that's a tough call. 4th and 2, that's a tough one. Because now you're asking somebody to get 2 yards. It's tough. In that situation, I think it's tough. Should he ran it? Maybe Kyle feels like he should have ran it. I don't know. All I know is they threw it, and I just saw a great defensive play. So if you can go back and watch it, their damn linebacker made a hell of a play on, or whoever was covering Jawan Jennings. I felt like it was a linebacker, but it might not have been. They made a hell of a play. They tipped the ball, and unfortunately, luckily it wasn't tipped in the air to where it was an interception on that play, and it got dead. You know what I'm saying? James Brown says, good content, brother. Always a professional, brilliant on telling it like it is. James, are we related? Because you might be the hardest working man in show business. I'm Wayne Brown. Nice to meet you, and thank you so much for that. You're family now, so now you're a cuzzo. All right. That was the series. We should have ran it, but damn, we didn't, and so it unfortunately came down to execution. It's crazy to go back and watch it and say the shouldas, the couldas, and the wouldas. You know what? I would take that play over the block punt, the muff punt, all the other. Even though we got the ball back on that, give me that 4th down again. Let them try it again. Throw it again. I would take that 100 times over. I've never in a million years thought that Mitch Wisnowski punt would get blocked. But this is the stuff that I'm talking about. Robert Bill Jr. was the back. Why? Let's talk about Brian Schneider and the special teams. I'm trying to tell you, coaching should not go unscathed in this game. I'm from Kyle to the defense, Nick Sorensen, to Schneider on special teams. Why is there not a running back there? Why? You had Isaac Guerrero suited up for the game. Patrick Taylor suited up for the game. Usually you want your best pass protecting back. Kyle Juszczyk. Why is Kyle Juszczyk not there? Why? He ain't utilized no other time. And we bring it down. It's not the overreaction show. Why is Kyle Like, put Kyle Juszczyk back there. You had Deebo Samuel returning the ball, so put Kyle Juszczyk back there just to protect the punt. Like, I'm trying to tell you, man, little things weren't making enough sense in my book. Am I overreacting? Probably, but I really think the Niners made too many mistakes and they couldn't overcome the mistakes because the Vikings made mistakes too. Okay, let's talk about how good Fred Warner was. Let's talk about the contributions from Nick Bosa. Fred Warner balled out. He was on another level. He was from another planet. And he pretty much kept the 49ers in this game by himself. But even Fred held himself accountable. Check it out.
Yeah, it's just, too many my bads, too many, man. I'll try to be better next time, and me included. Like, I'm thinking of the plays that I wanted back in this game. Like I said, we got to play more together as a team. We just got to do our job, play smarter football, and the rest will take care of itself because we are talented. We do play hard. We just got to play smarter.
Sometimes, this is what I got from that. Sometimes, talent ain't gonna get it done. Sometimes it ain't about the talent. Talent is great. You could be the most talented team and not have grit. You could be the most talented team and play without intelligence. Like, there were specific plays where I watched the 49ers defense not communicate. There were 3 plays on one series on where I watched the 49ers defense line up in like a trips because they had to cover 3 receivers on one side and players went the same way and left a flat wide open. I watched that. I scratched my head and I said, I don't understand what's going on. I don't get it. And it just made me realize that some players just aren't comfortable in certain situations. You know what I'm saying? So I like that, Fred. I love what Fred said. I love that he took accountability. But Fred, yeah, did you do anything wrong out there? Probably, but I mean, you played so damn amazing. I don't think anybody noticed, man. Clap it up to Fred Warner for giving you 2 complete football games. And I'm talking all in. All in. Fred Warner, all in. Like, each game. All in. Got dinged up, got hurt a little bit, came back, still played all in. I never thought I would. Yes, I'm lying. I do miss Dre Greenlaw, but it is what it is. You can't tell me that. And here's the thing that I love about Fred Warner the most. I don't feel like he's out on the football field overcompensating. He's just playing his role. He's really playing his role. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's playing the role. Peachy says, Warner going for that deep PO. I don't even think, Peachy, he's going for it. But if he doesn't get it, we riot. I know this is not, I just, because we know Fred, right? We've watched him grow from a young pup to a full-bred dog. He ain't thinking about none of these accolades. Fred at the point where it's time to win a championship. You could tell that Fred is tired of being close. For him to say what he just said is a lot of my bads. It's a lot of my bad. My bad. It's a lot of my bads. And then he threw himself in it. And I ain't seen no bad. Fred Warner was definitely the best player on the football field 2 games in a row. If he has to keep that up, we got a long season. So we're going to need the defense to just step up. We're going to need the defense to be better. I thought that Justin Jefferson was going to be a threat, and he absolutely was. He got injured. Prayers up to Justin Jefferson. He had a quad injury, left the game. But that didn't stop Sam Darnold from throwing over the middle of the field because the safeties were always out of position. That's my point. I tried to tell everybody that I like our safeties, but in the pass game, they're going to struggle. And that's what they showed. We got George Odom, first season starting as a safety. Jair Brown, first season starting as a safety. It's going to be some growing pains. Will they get better? Absolutely. Growing pains. And luckily, the bright side is it's only week 2. Bright side is it's week 2. It's on film. They can learn from it. Bright side is they're not playing Justin Jefferson again. Now they got some other guys they gonna have to deal with. As far as that's gonna probably like route them up. Marvin Harrison Jr., the rookie, had a phenomenal game last night. They got to deal with him a couple times, twice a year. They got to deal with, Metcalf. They got to deal with some receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown. They got some guys. They got some dogs. They're going to have to deal with all season long. Listen, here's my last take on this game as far as the recap. I'm going to move on. I want to get into some of the grades. My last take on the game is this. You ready? I need my guy, Mooney Ward, to be on the best receiver at all times. Now, if their best receiver, there's a stipulation to that. If their best receiver, because I feel like the Niners have 2-1 cornerbacks, 1A, 1B, Mooney Ward, whatever. If their best receiver possesses size, let Mooney Ward be the guy that locks him down, covers him, shadows him. If it's a quick guy that's possessing speed right off the jump, then let Ward be that guy that locks him up. I just need Nick Sorensen to be a little smarter. I don't know if he was taking a shot at Nick Sorensen in this. I'm talking about Fred Warner. I'm not sure, but I feel like the smarts got to get into the coaching mind too. Did Nick call a great game? It was all right. It wasn't great. I mean, they held them to 3 points in the fourth quarter. First, if they could have had a game where it was, here's where the defense wouldn't have been better. If the Niners they gave up 3 in the first quarter, they gave up 10 in the second quarter, the 7 in the third quarter, and then they gave up 3 in the fourth. If you can erase that touchdown, the Niners win this game. If you erase that one explosive play, the one brain fart, it was literally a brain fart defensively. Guys playing the wrong assignment, boom, 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 boom. If you can erase that, Niners win this game. It's close, but they win it. They pull it out, right? And so, like, I just feel like that 97-yard touchdown has to be put on the defensive coordinator because it's 97 yards. And if we keep it in a buck, I know we forced Steve Wilkes out of the booth after he gave up a touchdown before the second half of the last time we played the Vikings on a play that was almost perfectly executed. This play was nowhere near close to being perfectly executed. So I'm just saying we got it. Let's just keep the same smoke. That's all I'm asking. Same smoke. The same smoke. Cook Sports says run defense was horrible. Let's get into it, baby, because that's why we here. Let's look at this run defense, man, because I got it. You know me, dog. I got it pulled up, dog. You know me. I got it pulled up. I'm ready for the smoke. I thought the run defense wasn't. They gave up 100 and they gave up too many yards. They gave up a lot of yards on the ground. They did, but it was like yards after the run, after the defense started to get worn out. Can I add that context? It was later on in the game. This is why when you have a lead, you can lean on the running game. And so Aaron Jones ended up getting that fumble. He wasn't injured. He had fumbled on a screen pass, Fred Warner. And then they started to lean on more of a bigger back. And they put Ty Chandler in there, kid from North Carolina, UNC, right? And so when they put him in, it just looked like the run defense started getting gashed. At that point, though, I just felt like they were gassed. So they got gashed and they were gassed. So yeah, run defense was horrible. It wasn't as bad as we think. They gave up 140. Oh golly, they gave up 146 yards, 6.1 yards per average on the ground. But they didn't give up any touchdowns. So they gave up the yards. They didn't give up the touchdowns. So last week they gave up a touchdown and they didn't give up the yards. They were able to hold Breece Hall. To be fair, they held Aaron Jones to 33 yards. Once the Vikings realized they had the lead, because you got to remember, the Niners scored in the fourth quarter late. So the Vikings pretty much, that's why I said I can't really recall a moment where the Niners really were in control of the game. And so, like, the Vikings' game plan at that point was to run the ball until And so they realized that they could take advantage of the middle of the field with the 49ers and their safeties with some of their other wide receivers. But overall, the run defense wasn't the best. Graded wise, they weren't horrible. It just didn't look right. But I think a lot of it came to, you had, let's keep it a buck. This was Yator Gross Matos' first game, right? First game back, bad run grade. Malik Collins, terrible run grade. I'm going to give you the bottom 5 run grades, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. Demetrius Flanagan-Files. He had a 51.6 run grade. He had 2 tackles. He had 1 stop. But his run grade was relatively low. That was 5th from the bottom, right? Malik Collins, guy we want to be the run stuffer. The guy, Malik Collins, 49.0 run grade. 4 tackles, all right? 4 tackles. Javon Hargrave, 40.3. See, we going down. Wait till we get to it. We getting there. We getting there. I might be giving you 6. My bad. So we can start with Malik. 1, 2. No, I'm giving you 5. Kevin Givens, 35.2 run grade. He was better in pass rushing. So crazy, right? 35.2. And the worst run grade defended here was Travarius Ward. All right. Now, overall, the Niners had 19 tackles, 9 assists. What's that? 28. They had 1 missed tackle from the run defense. They only had a total of 3 missed tackles this whole game. So overall, the defense was better, but in the run defense, they gave up 146 yards. And a lot of it came to the simple fact that Nick Bosa wasn't containing the edge. You got to factor in Sam Darnold taking off and running because the Niners decided they wanted to stunt on 3rd down. What the fuck you stunting for on 3rd? Why be stunting? If you want to rush 4, just rush 4. Rush them so that way the edge is still being contained. The moment you stunt on a 3rd and whatever, the outside guys could just take off. There's nobody there. There's nobody there. I got to do 2 more shows today. This is impossible. There's nobody there on the outside. I'm all for the stunts, but it's just like, dang, like, dude, it's 3rd and long. You don't got to stunt. Just rush the 4, play the coverage and cover the flat, contain the edge. It's simple. It's simple. We overthink all the time. I watched Nick Bosa stunt and get locked up on the inside, tried to roll back to the outside, and Aaron Jones is pew. Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot. But yeah, the run defense wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same. They weren't as effective because it looked like that they got gashed toward the end, that 3rd and 4th quarters where they gave up the majority of the yards. But again, they held Aaron Jones to 33 yards, and Sam Darnold had a couple of big runs due to the breakdown of the containment. And there was one play where the Niners were playing the safeties too high up, and the linebackers were in coverage, and Sam Darnold did exactly what he should have did. He took off and ran. I don't know why don't nobody play us like that. Why is there always somebody right there to spy the quarterback or no one? We never get these breaks. I'd be like, if a defense would just play their 2 safeties high, right? And we send our guys out to where they got to cover. If Brock Purdy tried to pass that ball, slap the living dog. If he got 55 yards right in front of him, that's what Sam Darnold did, man. Extended the 3rd down. You can't make this stuff up. Like, these are the little things you can't make it up. What's going on, Throwback? These are the little things you can't make up. I know a lot of people, like Ayuk was missing. This is that in the 3rd. Yeah, listen, look, it is what it is. Brock ain't have enough time to really get the ball or see Ayuk because the defense was blitzing him the whole time. So, yeah, was Ayuk able to get open? Absolutely. I'm going to watch the film as soon as I get it. And I could tell you the plays that Ayuk gets open. We'll cover all Brock Purdy's pass plays. Guys, you can check that out on the Patreon. You pay the $5, you'll get that video where I go over all of Brock Purdy's throws in this game. That's www.patreon.com/TheWayneBreezie. Go sign up right now. Once I get that video, I will be doing the breakdown of all of his throws. Purdy throws. That's the name of the segment. You'll see it. Trust me. I'll go through it. I'll go through all the throws. I'm talking incomplete passes, penalties, you name it. I'm going through all the throws. All of his attempts will be available for you on the Patreon. But it's just so crazy. Run defense was crazy. And they gave up 403 yards. And if you want to know where the Niners, in my opinion, they lost this game, the Niners in this game literally were 2 for 10 on third down. Offensively. Defensively, they gave up 7 third downs. So if that's 58%, defensively, they gave up almost 60% of the third down play calls to Sam Darnold. Offensively, they couldn't convert a third down to save their life. On the 10 plays, they only did 2. That's 20%. Third down is what killed the San Francisco 49ers. Midwest says, y'all were killing us running the ball. And Kyle Shanahan decided to throw the ball. We started the game with 3 throws. I couldn't figure out why there wasn't a run mixed in. I have to watch the film, but if from what I know, Midwest, y'all were stacking the box. Why didn't we continue to run it on a stack box? I mean, common sense, but it looked like Jordan Mason was getting. He averaged 5 yards per carry. So, yeah, we were, and then Kyle, he kind of abandoned the run. Can't figure out how he abandoned the run, but he kind of abandoned the run. John Farmer says, you know why? Because our guy is over at the Saints. You see how their offense is looking. Who's over at the Saints? John, I'm confused. I'm just lost. Who's over at the Saints? Let me know. Nate says not running the ball on fourth down. The goal line has to be crazy. That's how a lot of people feel, man. A lot of people feel that has to be crazy. Oh, Kubiak. Yes, correct. Yo, that's my last thing, right? I wanted to talk about this. I'm glad, Boats. Thank you, Nigel. Thank you, Troy. Thank you. I see all of y'all there. Thank you. Please. Thank you. 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 Man, it ain't just Kubiak, bro. It just seemed like all of Kyle's disciples go somewhere else. And what if Kyle Shanahan is leaning? Don't we got another Kubiak here? Ain't the other Kubiak the one that's calling the plays right now? Didn't he call the offensive plays throughout the preseason? I think Kyle Shanahan is allowing his assistant coaches to do a lot of the work. And maybe that's why we're seeing a lot of these 3-yard plays, these quick throws, these little things. You know what I'm saying? I think Kyle needs to be like, all right, motherfuckers, I gave y'all a shot, and now I'm back. I don't know, but something seemed off. And you got to go back to the preseason. I'm glad you mentioned this. You got to go, because I promise you, I was talking about this, and you got to go back to the preseason, and you got to say, well, why was Kubiak calling plays? So I'm wondering if Kyle has relinquished some of the play calling to his assistants. It's possible, because stuff don't look the same. That's my issue. Stuff doesn't look the same. You get what I'm saying? We got Clay here and Clint over there. And it just looks like, but listen, man, come on. Like I watched the Texans game too. It was all right. You know the difference between never mind. I'm gonna say this. Maybe Kyle need to get back and take the realms back and be a little bit more like, not just I like the aggression. I love going for it on fourth down. I think that's setting a different tone. Them joints be 50-50, right? You either gonna get it or you don't. Can you question the play calling? Absolutely. Everything is questionable. But my point is, I thought if it was Jordan Mason, for some reason the illusion of certain things is missing. Some of the elements is missing. And so I wonder if Kyle Shanahan needs to just take control back of what he's really great at, because in this game he got outcoached. he got outcoached. It's clear Brian Flores got the best of him again. Like, super clear. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm not talking about jumping in on the defensive side and whatever. But you got a new defensive coordinator and Nick Sorensen, and if Kyle Shanahan is kind of not babying him, but kind of like just, hovering over him just to make sure things go out in the right way. Yeah, I remember Kyle got a defensive mind, which helps him create the offense that he runs. You brought in Brandon Staley. Kyle, if you trust him, let him handle the defense, and you focus on the offense. The fuck is going on? There was a bunch of weird play calls. And I don't know. I'm the only one that probably feels like that pass to Jawan Jennings wasn't a weird play call. I understand the scenario. I understand what everybody is saying. I did not dislike that play call. But there were plenty of calls that I hated. Like, how about the one to Deebo Samuel at the end of the game where the Niners had to go for a field goal opposed to trying to score a touchdown? I thought that was worse than the 4th and 2. Me personally. It's my personal opinion. Thought that was worse. Do I want to get the ball to Deebo Samuel's hands? Absolutely. But damn it, the moment he lines up, they know what it is. Like, there's no more illusion in Kyle's offense, which will lead me to my last point before we dip up out of here. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be the BAM Show. We're going to talk about who's to blame. That's going to be fun to watch. Let's talk about Christian McCaffrey's injury status moving forward. Now, we already know he's out at least minimum 4 weeks. There are reports out there saying it's probably going to be 6 weeks and things like that. And when I look at the schedule, it looks like we got the Rams on the road. We got the Patriots at home, who are playing hard, right? They barely lost to the Seahawks last week. We got the Cardinals, who look red hot coming in. And I can't remember the other 2 teams after the Cardinals game, right? But Christian McCaffrey injury moving forward may be detrimental to what the 49ers are doing. Now, I got a bunch of caveats here because I don't think that all the teams that we're playing won't blitz like Brian Flores. That's what I was trying to get. They won't blitz like Flores, right? That's just me. I don't think that. So they won't be able to scheme up, okay, a lot. Flores blitzed 51% of the time in that game too. So on 50% of the snaps, on the 100% of the snaps, he blitzed 51.1% of the time. I knew it was a high number. It's not 70, it's not 80. It's kind of mid, but Brock was blitzed. They wanted to put that out there. I don't think other teams will blitz as much. The Jets barely blitzed. I think their number was like 20-something%. But my issue is, when blitzed, Brock struggles all of a sudden. I don't know if that's because of play design, but what if it's because of this guy not being in the offense? And George Kittle spoke about that. Like, George Kittle spoke about Christian McCaffrey and, him not being there. And I just want to get your takes on it, right? So let's have some fun. Let's listen to my man, George Kittle.
Christian is the offensive MVP for a reason. He was in the MVP voting for a reason. He had 20-plus touchdowns for a reason, because he does it all in the pass game, in the run game. It's really fun because it's like having Deebo and him are just interchangeable. Like, you'll have Christian running routes, and then all of a sudden you put a Mike linebacker on him, and Deebo's in the backfield. You have no idea what you're going to get. So it just gives us another dimension. And then, he's voted he didn't do anything. He didn't do OTAs. He didn't do really much of training camp. He's still voted a captain. So, like, there's the impact that you guys can see. He has an incredible impact on this team. Just him being around, he boosts everyone's confidence. But I still think we could have. We won last week. I think we had opportunities to find a way to win today, and we just didn't. But it's just there's things that we can't do without Christian.
The only thing I liked about that is there's things we can do without Christian. Can the 49ers win without Christian McCaffrey? Absolutely. They already proved that they can win. They also proved that they can lose, right, without him being in the lineup. It's going to be about 4 to 6 more games where he's not going to be there. He might not be back until the 49ers play the Chiefs at home. I think that's probably where I'm targeting Christian McCaffrey to return. And the last time the first time he was on this roster was when we played the Chiefs at home, right? So I'm a little weary. Can the Niners win games? Yes. Here's how. They got to find a way to play mistake-free football, right? They got to find a way to play mistake-free football. Kyle Shanahan, when it comes to running the ball, he's going to have to find a way to be a little bit more creative. What do I mean? Look, you can give Jordan Mason the ball 20 times. He had the ball 8 less times in this game. So let's just keep it a buck. A lot of y'all were complaining about Jordan Mason being overworked. So Kyle must have listened and gave him 8 less carries. All right. Which one is it? You want him to have the carries or you want him to have less carries? Like, you can't have both. So he did it, and the Niners couldn't, they didn't find a way to win. The key for the Niners to win football games is to find a way to run the ball. I felt like Kyle should have mixed up more Deebo Samuel early, opposed to running him on a sweep in the third quarter. What, you thought you was gonna hit him with a surprise? Nah, you gotta let it churn up. You give it to him early, you go away from it, you come back, you hit him with it, and one of them gonna break. One of them is gonna be good, right? So if Deebo would have got at least a minimum of 6 carries, it could have changed the game just a little bit. Then you got a rookie. You got to let him run the ball. You got to find a way to get Isaac Guerrero involved in the game somehow. When you drafted him, what's the point? It's not like he had a tackle. He had a rush for no gain. He didn't lose a yard. And if you go back and watch it, the defense was in the backfield the moment we hiked the ball. So the offensive line failed on that. So my issue is, Kyle's got to figure out how to delegate the runs without Christian McCaffrey. Because if he can, the Niners will win. Also, they got to figure out the screen game. It's obso-freaking-lete. It ain't there. It's not there. And whenever they do it, it doesn't work. I don't know why we're the only team in the NFL that just looks like we can't run the screen. We ran it a lot in this game, but it just seems like we can't run the screen. Like, it's not as effective as it used to be. Maybe teams have just figured out Kyle Shanahan. Or maybe Brian Flores' defense was just well prepared. There's so many maybes here. At the end of the day, the Niners got their butts handed to them. They didn't look like they were in control this whole game. Grade-wise, the Niners were... I'm just going to give a flat-out C across the board. I think this was a C game. It was average. It was minimum. But it could have been better. And if a couple of things don't happen, a couple of mistakes don't happen, the Niners would typically have found a way to win this game. I thought I saw more energy from the Niners in the fourth quarter than I did the whole game. And that, to me, is the issue. So if you want to know why they lost, well, they got to third down and they couldn't find a way to make a play. And Brock Purdy even spoke about that. He spoke about the positive plays versus the negative plays.
Yeah, it's tough. When first or second down, aren't positive plays and, just trying to move the ball. And then, you got to rely on third down with, their scheme and obviously their disguises and stuff. It could be tough. And, they just did a good job with making it look like one thing and it was another, and different types of blitzes and stuff, or just dropping out. So they did a lot. And that's just on us. It's on me to move the ball, be efficient on first and second down, and get us in third and manageable, and then convert on third down. So it's a game of football. It's 4 quarters like that, and we had to learn the hard way.
If the 49ers can find a way to get back to rhythm and efficiency, they'll find a way to pull out some of these gritty games, even if games are going to be close. And I don't expect the Niners to blow every team out, I don't expect the Niners to get blown out, but I do expect the Niners to find a way to get back to being in sync as a team. Like Fred Warner said, we play as a team, we'll figure things out. If the Niners can figure that out, they'll be good to freaking go. Tough loss in Minnesota. Congratulations to the Vikings. You guys showed up. You guys played well. again, tip my hat off to the Vikings, to the Skull Gang out there. You guys brought it. The Niners were timid. The Niners, they just didn't look ready. They didn't look ready. And when you're not ready, it shows out there on the football field. A couple of players I felt like that brought it: George Kittle, Jordan Mason, Deebo Samuel. And as much as y'all want to shoot Brock Purdy under the bus, I thought Brock Purdy was pretty decent. He wasn't efficient, but overall, his numbers were good. And the reason why his numbers were good is because he was trying to find ways to make plays. Efficiency was the key, though. And Brock Purdy and the wins happen when he's the most efficient player out on the football field. Guys, make sure you check out our sponsors over at residency.com. That's www.residency.com. Use that promo code right there below. Right there, SF Breezy. You can save on your total purchase. Got tons of work. Live at 4, BAM show with Mike Andrews from Nothing But Niners. Make sure you tune in. And then 9 p.m., 8 or 9 p.m. tonight, Nitty Gritty Niners Talk. We'll be going over this a little bit more in detail, getting everybody's perspective on the game and what we're going to have to do to beat the Rams. All right, because that's who's next up on the docket. You guys are wonderful. Again, happy birthday to Jax. It is your birthday. Go, 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 girl. It's your birthday. All right, enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. Sorry we lost. We'll get him next time. Till the next time, stay faithful to the Bay, everybody. We out this joint. Peace.